Hey, Aquarius. This is Joy of Joy of the World here to take an intuitive peek into the energies going on around you. Friends and subscribers, welcome back. And if you're new to this channel, be sure you click that subscribe button and ring the bell. They'll notify you anytime I post new videos. Also, if you find you like the content I provide here at Joy of the World, be sure to give me a big thumbs up, like, and share. And to anybody who sent donations, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. I was able to order 4 new decks from this place in Scotland, so hopefully they'll be here next week for us to take a peek into. I'm excited. Also, if you like my necklace, check out Blazing Light Yoga. A fantastic woman named Bhagya Shri, also known as Mel Glover, gave it to me. She made it so beautiful. She has powerful life-giving energy. She is a light warrior as well. So, Aquarius, you were saying you didn't know if anyone could ever love you. That is a shocker. I'm like, what? But we all have some internal dialogue, don't we, going on? And many cards are turned face down. I don't even know what they are. And then a few are up. So we're going to start with, first thing I need to say is you're very protective. You're very protective of yourself and your family. And because of that, you've worn some things out of who you are. But it's also right on time. I can tell you that as well. Because we are shifting into that new state of air, like towards the end of mid or the end of December. We're moving into a 200-year air cycle. So it's about time. And you're like, it is about time that we need to get into my energy because it has worn you out. And you're like, I know it's worn me out. And how do I know? This is one of the cards that is up. You're wanting to rest. You're wanting to rest because you're weary. And what have you worn out? You have worn out your high priestess. Okay? It's like it's time for me to put this to rest. This type of work, this having to keep my mind active on that frame that I almost can't even enjoy life or have a regular conversation because I'm always peering between the layers, checking, double checking, looking through to be protective of all these energies that are floating about like virus bugs. Like some people are afraid of corona. You've been aware of all the energies of like contagious energies that move around us all day, every day. And you're like, yes, that's why I've been protective. That's why I got my staff up here, and I'm like, you ain't coming up in here. You better keep your wounds over there. Not coming anywhere near me or my family. And that's where this dark woman comes in. Dealings or relationship with a woman with dark complexion or hair. And that's more like we could say like the shadow side of yourself, but some of you might have a preconceived notion of what that means. But it's about how to navigate the darkness, that type of the shadow self of the one, the high priestess, right, who can see that. So how do I know? The nest, an emotionally secure, loving family is important to you. And a lot has gone on. There's been so much that's gone on that you haven't been in control of, that it really sharpened you and brought your high priestess to such a peak level that there was nowhere to go from here. And because there was nowhere to go, it was finally time to lay to rest. Like when you win the game, like video games, if you played the old Nintendo, when you get the princess, the game is over. And it was a long, hard battle, lots of adventures, lots of journey. But when it's done, it's like, and then it's also like, So there's a bit of that going on. And we're going to dive into where it's throwing us over now. It's throwing us over into the eagle. Triumph over troubles and obstacles. Fantastic. Help is coming in. Help is on the way. But they're telling me it's going to be just a minute. All right. Got to go through another day, couple more days, because it's showing like the sun rising and setting. It's working in your favor right now. I said, don't be disheartened. Okay, we're gonna see what's going on because that is hovering above the high priestess, but there's one between the two, and that is the King of Cups. Learning to trust and love, that it's finally time for that your family is safe, that, you don't just have to be the shadow eye anymore. You don't just have to be the high priestess, because that is the two, right? You're able to step into the empress, because the high priestess doesn't have anything that's her own. All right, she's always in her mind. She's always up here. She doesn't get down into her lower chakras, which is why the Four of Swords is so covered in blue. He's like weary and tired, like, I'm ready to go to sleep, ready to let my mind rest and let these warm energies wake up and get to living so that we can enjoy this King of Cups. We can enjoy our dreams coming to life, the abundance and the prosperity that's there. It's still not full vision yet. You can see there's still a bit of a shadow coming across. So the day is just dawning. If the light is here, it's like that. The sun is rising and it's just starting to illuminate you, but wait till it's fully overhead, okay? And that's sitting above that high priestess. So next to the eagle, we have the clouds coming in, temporary problems. And that could cause a bit of a disruption because it's like, oh, wait, that's a whole new energy to go from high priestess pushing onward towards more of a empress type energy. Of when you move the major arcana, that's a big shift. That is a big change. And as not, you can tell it's not danger, right? Because it's just clouds. The sun is still there. The sun is shining. But your mind, that's almost like like Oz when he made all the smoke come out in the booming voice when he was really just this little man behind a curtain, right? It's more of that booming voice. This one's still coming out like, hey, wait a second. Let me run a background check on you. Let me see about these dreams. Are they going to bring any harm to what all I've worked so hard for, to protect, to take care of all these years, all these lifetimes? Now that we're shifting into this 200-year energy of air, which has to do with communication, things moving quickly. And you're like, I don't know about that. Give me just a second. We're going to check the underlying energy first. So that awakens the Ace of Swords. And the Ace of Swords is trying to connect with your clouds. That's what has risen up here. Can you see it? You've got the keen perception. You've got that. We're not going to call it an evil eye because you don't want to do that. You want both your eyes. And like Odin, given the one eye for wisdom, you've had the wisdom. Now you need the perspective, okay? So you've got the eagle eye, the being able to see with all three eyes in a full conjunction, a full union, which brings depth perception. And through that, you know what you want to stick to, what you want to go with. You've got this, they're leaves, but it's like a golden glitter. It's a, you're fully connected to your part of who you are, committed to your part of the relationship. There are little blips and pieces missing simply because it hasn't fully emerged. And that's why the clouds are here, saying just give it a minute. Give it a minute. The clouds will clear and you'll see what we're seeing is what your guides, what I hear them say. More than just both sides of the issue, you'll begin to see the magic underlying our genius is what they're talking about. So let's see what their genius is, because this is the card that merges the two. Here we have the Queen of Pentacles. Look at that. You're drawing life close to you, life and all of its abundance and its beauty. And it's like unraveling you a little bit. She's a little bit disheveled. It's like we caught her off guard. She's like, oh, wait, somebody's coming into the room. Let me cover myself. Let me cover it with this fertile rabbit. Remember we were talking about a bit of the Empress energy coming in? That's some of it here, stepping into the Queen of Pentacles. It's some of that warm energy coming in, producing the abundance, both inwardly and outwardly. And it leaves you like a little flabbergasted, not in a bad way, but more like, oh, okay. So it begins to silence the false thunder that's not even here, the stuff that, the boomer that began to kind of wake up like boom, 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 dun, 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 what's going to happen? I think there might be a wolf on the horizon, which wolves in this case are having to do with wounds, wounded people, right? People bringing the issues into your house and you're like, not on my watch. But we're about to find out what is really happening because she's like, oh, it's you. That's kind of the energy that I see. So this is the only tea leaf that wasn't visible. So let's see what it is. Oh, okay. So what is coming in that she's like, she's looking up, excuse me, she's over here. She's like, oh, a unicorn. That's a symbol of resurrection, of newness of life, of like power beyond powers, world beyond worlds. Use your intuition to make beneficial change. And they're saying, put that in your pipe and smoke it. I'm sorry, your guys are a little sassy today. I'm like, all right. And you're like, okay, I will. Because there's still a little bit of you relegated to things being like tone it down some, keeping you cool, you know, keeping yourself level-headed, keeping your wits about you, right? Because you had to for so long. We're talking like 20 years, right? But here's the magic, and this part of you, she knows better. She's like, oh, a unicorn, and you've begun to awaken and imagine all the possibilities. That's what this rabbit, this abundance, this fertility, like this deep pink that you're teaching me about, this magenta. The magenta is like from the earthy resources, awakening and bringing up that life force energy that makes all things possible, to marry with the high heart pink energy that is like the child dreamer, the purity of a child's heart. And so what do we really have to go all the way down? So we're going directly beneath it, the Ten of Wands. All right. This is what is putting that look on your face. I mean, look at that unicorn. It's like, yeah, what is? That type of a thing. This is what is this, okay? So, see, remember where it talked about dark? Well, here you have a bruise. The bruise is that how hard things have been. It's that bit of a memory. It went down pretty deep, and it's taken time to come up to the surface. And this is like your realization of like, oh, okay. So it's no longer this spicy, like, you see the look on our face like, I think I got, I know what to do. That type of a thing, to where it begins to soften some, to realize that, oh, I am tired. Oh, it is time. Oh, you know, I would like to have something filling my arms, to have this abundance, to have pleasure and earthly pleasure in life here, and some humanity pumping through my veins. Okay. I see promise holding it all together, and the angels coming in saying, remember who you are, my child. Remember what you're made of. Let us have this. Let us take this for you. Let us build your house of dreams. We know how to do it. We know that earthwise, you'll never have enough. You've had to spend so much of your life working like this to protect what you cared about, which was your assignment, and you did well. You done good, kid. That's what they're saying. And they're saying, let us have this for you. And in comes, with that surrender, the Ace of Cups. Look at that. Your majesty. And it gathers all the contents of your heart that is not, none of it's lost in translation. It's not even having to figure out how to say it or what that could be like, you know, beyond the unicorn. It's like the unicorn this time. You've called the energies, the powers from beyond, to come down into your heart and to see down here, and the part that you've been gazing down into for so long, because that's part of what you are protecting. The future, your dreams, our children, because you dream of things being good and healthy and loving and kind and friendly and prosperous for all, for all, for all. You're saying, like, I'm almost coming on my chair just talking about it. And here, you're like, yes, and even then some. What all is meant to be, how it's supposed to be. You know, all those things that you couldn't get to while you were so busy being the protector. It's like now you're able to lay that down, because before it was your staff. Now it's being laid down. You see, like your tail here. It's being laid down. You are now fully protected. Life has come along to say, I got you, baby. I got you. You lay it down. Let us build your house, your covering, your protection, your shield that will be innate and be completely natural. That you'll know we've got you, and you are our prize. You are true love. So in comes the final channel, marriage. Look at there. Got 3 rings, just like it should be. You know, in case y'all didn't know, relationship is a component of 3. It's one person, the other person, and then the relationship. Each has its own energy, its own being, as if the relationship had its own finger to put the promise on. That's how we need to see it. It's not yellow and blue make green, and now I'm no longer yellow, you're no longer blue, we're just all green. And that could cause the chaos and the difficulties of how to navigate that green. But if you're your yellow and they're the blue, and then the relationship itself is the green, you'll have a commonplace, a talking point, and something new to totally learn and navigate together. But you still have the individual contributions of each person and the uniqueness contained therein that brings that freshness, that vitality, and that life. That's what you're telling me here. And so remember, down at the bottom on this channel was the Four of Swords, the wanting to come to rest. It's like that, the full completion of this whole 200-year turning and moving, going all the way through. It was the adjustment period, doesn't really extend too far beyond the full change that happens in December. The adjustment period has been definitely the last 20 years. Going on about 21, since about the Golden Dragon, since about 2000, okay? And for some of you, the pre-prep period of the real rupture began back in about 1986. So in between connecting marriage and the Four of Swords is whom? The Emperor. All right. So you're like, well, I didn't want to be the Empress. Why stop there? I want to be double of what I am. I want to be the Emperor. I want to be settled. Remember, you want to have that home, that place, that comfort, that shelter. You're like, I'll take this Queen of Pentacles abundance and I'll put it along with the King of Cups and I'll bring in the Emperor. This is what we have. This is my magic. This is my destiny. It's where my magics merge, my white magic and my red magic to make what? Green. Okay, so you're not yellow and blue make green. You're like, I want my red and white to make green. And I know exactly what I stand for. Okay. Some of you, check out what's going on in Capricorn. There's some concealed vision going on here about, and even if you have nothing in Capricorn, look at what house it's in, okay? Or look what sits directly across the map from it. Because you're telling me there's a secret that lies therein. And in that case, it brings in the divinity. So there's destiny all over here, but it wants to merge with divinity. It wants your own expression to join this. You've had to be in this energy for so long of doing what is necessary, doing what is right, being required, that type of thing, that now they're like, well, how would you want your house to look? Where would you want it to be? You know, it's that type of thing. The Emperor may be solid and seem commanding of like, come to me and it's my way or the highway. It's actually not him. He's like, come here. And he's like, if you could see me, like if this is the chair, he's like, come sit down. Come sit right here. Tell me your dreams. Almost like Santa Claus, you know, when the kid comes up and they get to tell him what they dream and what they want. He's like, oh yeah, that's me. I ain't no crumple fuss, no crumple humps, no crumps, whatever. I have a Hungarian friend, and there's the naughty little thing that comes along that gives the lumps of coal. While Santa gives out all the gifts, he gives out the naughty stuff. He's like, I'm not that little dude. I'm the good stuff. I want to hear the truth because I'm involving you. I'm calling you in. You've worked so hard, my dear. You've worked so hard. And you've arrived to the date of destiny. That date, that time is now. And I have the power and authority to invite you in and to allow your dreams to flow, your creative power. We're going to co-create together. That's amazing. I love it. Let's get, what's that? What do I want? Here. We're going to get a card to go out from this. There it is. I see you. Up, boop. 50, the compass. So it begins to spin and move. Look at that. And you're like, oh, where do I want to go? What do I want to do? What do I want my days to be filled with? What do I want it to look like? And you get to dream of joys and you get to dream of destiny and those sort of things instead of just protecting it. Instead of just having to guard the seed, the spark, the grain of sand, the pearl of great price. This is Jubilee. This is everything. You get everything, darling. You get everything, love. Wow. Best of both worlds. No stress, no stretch, no strain. You get the whole kit and caboodle. Ancient, future, all of it. It's fantastic. I could go on, but I'll just give you one more look. Look on in there. That's it. That's what you get. That's fantastic, Aquarius. We'll talk soon. I love you. Bye.